Good morning, my friends. I hope you're doing well. Normally, I'm talking about passion, creativity, doing your thing in a very broad sense. But today, I want to talk a bit more about specifically storytelling and specifically characters in stories. You know, whether you're writing a screenplay, a novel, a short story, it could be you're giving a monologue. So, this is open not just to writers, but also to actors, people who are trying to figure out things as they go along. Now, I've got my phone backwards, so I'm not even sure if I'm on camera. Um, but what I thought might be an interesting exercise would be to help you understand the importance of context for a character. Where do we find the character? Where do we find you? And what your environment, what your choices about your environment say about you and say about your characters long before they show up. So I thought we could do that. We could try that out by looking at my environment where I work every day in my home apartment. Also, I will put it out there, you know, you'll quickly discover there's no point in stealing my identity. It's not worth anything. Anyways, just to walk you around, I'm going to turn this around, so hopefully it's not too shaky. Oh, there we go. All right. As a Torontonian, as a Canadian, I'm a hockey fan. And in my case, I am particularly a fan of the Toronto Marlies, the farm team of the Toronto Maple Leafs. But unlike the Maple Leafs, who I've followed for decades and no longer really do, my team, the Marlies, won a championship a handful of years ago. The Maple Leafs, not so much. And I even had the joy of being able to hang out with the championship trophy at the local rink, the Calder Cup. It was a great moment for me. I know it was a great moment for the other fans as well. So it was brilliant to get those photos. But aside from hockey, because we can't always be cliche, I'm also a big fan of art. Here are a bunch of pieces of art from a variety of different artists, including my niece in the top left corner. I just love supporting the creative arts, right? I very much live the life I espouse to you guys online. So I think that's important. And so behind those pieces of art, those paintings and prints that I have yet to actually hang up, because one, I don't have a lot of wall space in this very small apartment, and two, I am basically a very lazy man. So they sit on shelves in front of antiquarian books that I've collected over the decades. Books that have enthralled me, intrigued me, some of them more than 100 years old, on a variety of subjects. Some of them are literature, some of them are science, some of them are just history. Not just history, but history. And then a keepsake from my life with my grandparents, a sandy cast model of a collie, because you'll see in a few minutes that I am a huge collie lover. I'm a dog lover regardless, but I'm a collie lover. Some of my paintings do manage to get on the wall. In this case, a piece of art celebrating the West Coast Indigenous world. We just had National Indigenous Day here in Canada yesterday, so nice that I can celebrate this with you. For me, the stylized orca being in the foreground versus the more biological orca being in the background, ghosted, is really what drew me to this painting. And I thank my friend Robin for holding the auction that I was able to get that and actually steal it from her. As we move along, there are still more books because you can never have enough books. In this case, shelves and shelves of history books. Starting at the bottom with like ancient history, Egyptian, Sumerian, going to the Greek and Roman era, rising up into British history and European history, and then even getting into Mesoamerican and, yes, indeed, Canadian history, because Canadian history does exist. We've been around for a while, even if not always called Canada. And then, of course, more championship rings, trophies, not that I earned, these are replicas, hockey players, a statue that is very important to me for personal reasons. And more books and a plaque, because again, you can't have enough books. We continue around, and you see a bag from the PWHL, because I'm a big supporter of women's sports and, again, hockey. A Pride jersey that a friend got me because he knows how important the cause of Pride is to me. Inclusiveness and equality, and just a chance for everybody to have a voice. Huge for what I want to do and how I want to support artists and people of all walks, right? And then we'll get over to yet another painting by my other niece, which I'm still working on getting the wrinkles out of, so please forgive me for not having mounted this one either. This one's definitely going to require a frame when I'm done. And then a simple kitchen. Coffee maker, toaster, bean grinder, microwave. Pretty much everything you need for a bachelor's apartment. Dishes that need to desperately be washed. And a stove that's basically still pristine because, let's face it, I don't really cook much. But the true statement of my bachelorhood is a refrigerator filled with mostly prepared foods. Again, I don't really cook much, and so I'm looking for convenience when it comes to food, although I am trying to eat better for health reasons. But yeah, this is definitely a bachelor's apartment. We swing back this way, we go up to the window. You can see again, this is a basement apartment because there's the driveway and there's my neighbor's wall. More hockey, celebrating a Florida hockey team that was unable, unfortunately, to four-peat. And then a plaque of thanks from the Toronto Chinese Canadian Film Festival, as it's known this year, for my participation in that last year. An air fryer that has not fried air, and I can't tell you how long, is more collecting dust. And I am a fan of the Beatles, and thank my friend Gary Pearson for doing this amazing painting of the characters and images from the movie Yellow Submarine into this Russian nesting doll kind of thing. He's an amazing talent. I'll try to put a link to him down below. And some collections of toys. One of my friends likes to give me these little sort of almost like Lego puzzles just to watch me go crazy because I am old. More books, again, more books. My beloved collie from several years ago, whom I adore and miss desperately. And more paintings from street muralists that I've gotten to know over the years, from artists I've just met randomly on Instagram, whose art just blew me away. I love these paintings. And then an artist from the Northwest called Jamie Janko, who does these amazing pour-over paintings using paint that glows under black light. So this painting looks somewhat different under black light than it does under the white light that I'm using right now to illuminate it. My workstation, my proud Canadian puzzle flag, again from my friend. More hockey, more neighbor, and my great-grandparents, whom I adore and miss desperately. They've both been gone a long time now. But pictures I was able to get from my grandmother, who sadly is also gone. And then finally, there is some wall space, so I should really put paintings there. And then finally, more books, and more books, and more books. Books about words, books about business and creativity, books about travel and more business stuff, and some satire. Thank you, Jon Stewart. Books about comedy and creativity, and finally books about storytelling. I teach storytelling. It makes sense that I would have books about storytelling. And then even some tchotchkes from some recent events, including my friend James Gangl, who I'm taking his storytelling class, a whoopee cushion from one of his shows, as well as like a coaster. And you can even see a Marlies pride pin there. Oh, and that's how old I am. I still have floppy disks. They don't work in anything, but I still have them. So again, this is who I am. Take from it what you will. Right? What does this all tell you? Oh, I don't know why I went out of focus there. What does this all tell you about who I am, this guy that's talking to you? I'm a fan of art, but I'm too lazy to put it on the wall for the most part. I adore hockey, and I'm a little maniac about it, and particularly my team, my boys, which also means that I dislike the parent club because they keep taking my boys away. I'm a bachelor. I don't cook much. If I can't just crack it open and eat it right away, I'm probably not buying it. I'm not putting a lot of prep. I love family. I love the memories of family. I support pride. I support women's sports because it's not just about men. I lead a relatively simple life. I won't show you the bedroom because nobody needs to see the bedroom. I won't show you the bathroom because nobody ever needs to see someone's bathroom. I say and then tell you, no, if you've got a character in a bathroom, what's the bathroom look like? How clean is it? How do they prep themselves? How do they get ready for their day? These are all really important things to have in the background as you let us into the world of your characters, as you let us see who they are without them saying anything about it, right? The amount of detail you put into that is up to you. How much detail you give us is how much detail we have to work with. But if you tell me something, I'm going to assume it's there for a reason. I'm going to assume you wanted me to know this about the character. Now you know a bit more about me. You know that there's nothing worth stealing. None of this has any real significant value other than my attachment to it. This is who I am, right? That and these videos, the presentations I make to you, you at least now know that I live up to them. If this is something that you're interested in thinking about more and doing more and introducing more into your storytelling, if you're in the Toronto area, come check out my class, Out of Our Minds and Onto the Page, that I'll be giving late July into August at Toronto Sweet Action Theatre. It's going to be a combination of improv games and writing exercises and just goofing around and talking and thinking about things, spontaneously coming up with settings, describing places, describing people, coming up with lines of dialogue, writing stories spontaneously, either alone or with your classmates. I've got some interesting exercises in mind. It's going to be a lot of fun, and there's no pressure. We're not trying to churn out a completed story. We're not churning out a completed screenplay or novel. It's about every Saturday afternoon just goofing around and trying things, exploring things, and knowing there is no wrong, there is no failing. I'll put some information about the class in the information with this video. If you don't already, subscribe to the video series if you find these things even remotely useful. Check out a few of the other videos while you're here. And be sure, if you will, to share any of these videos with people in your social circles, people that you know, who talk about writing but haven't really gotten around to doing it, or actors who are thinking about writing their own roles because they're tired of trying to find other people's roles for them. We're going to have fun. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to have fun. Hopefully you have fun. So again, check it out. Out of Our Minds and Onto the Page, starting in late July. Information below. I wish you the best. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead, a month ahead, a year ahead of creative self-expression, passioned living, and just doing your thing because you love doing your thing. Take care. Whoa.